Today, I'm going to read The Sorcerer's Apprentice by Cyril Bavis, illustrated by Fabio Gambino. So here we go. In an ancient land where the powers of magic flowed freely, there lived a boy named Tiernan, whose hidden gifts won him the job of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. This is his story. It started when the sorcerer saw Tiernan collecting honey from a beehive. Other children had tried to get the honey, only to run from the bees covered in stings. With Tiernan, it was different. When Tiernan approached the hive, he began to hum a simple tune. The bees grew calm and allowed him to pass unharmed. Seeing this, the sorcerer knew he had found his apprentice. From that day forward, Tiernan spent his days in the castle, cleaning, organizing, and fetching for the sorcerer. Tiernan was fascinated by the sorcerer's magic and studied the books of spells and potions whenever he had time. Nothing made Tiernan happier than having that time, so he was overjoyed the day the sorcerer planned to leave him alone for the first time. Unfortunately, just as the sorcerer was leaving the castle, he handed Tiernan a list of chores and instructed him to do nothing else until they were finished. Tiernan glumly reviewed the list, realizing it would take all day. He set to work cleaning and organizing the castle, placing potions on shelves, polishing the cauldrons, and finally sweeping and mopping the floors. As he was beginning the mopping, Tiernan looked out at the sun sinking lower into the sky, wishing he could find time to study sorcery. Then he had an idea. Sorcery could help him skip the mopping. Tiernan dove for the books, looking for the spell that would do the trick. As time passed, he began to despair. Not only was he unable to find the right spell, but he no longer had time to mop the floors himself. The sorcerer will be very disappointed, he thought. That's when Tiernan spotted a scroll on the top of the shelves. Climbing on a chair, Tiernan could just reach the scroll marked "The Ultimate Power." This has potential, he thought. The scroll described a spell that granted the power to command any object. Tiernan turned to the mop and bucket and rested in the corner and called out, "Fantastic, bombastic, bazan! Now, mop these floors as fast as you can!" With an explosion of sparks, the bucket flew out the window and dropped into the well. Moments later, it came splashing back through the window and sloshed water onto the floor. The mop streaked across the floor, twirling and dancing and scrubbing. Tiernan cried out for joy and joined the mop in its magical dance. That joy was short-lived. The bucket was not stopping. Over and over, it streaked from the window, dumping more and more water onto the floor. Tiernan reached for the scroll to find a way to stop the bucket, but as he grabbed it, the mop plowed into him and the scroll fell into the water. Mortified, Tiernan watched as ink washed from the page, dooming the castle to watery destruction. Just when things looked hopeless, the sorcerer returned to save the day. "Oratio, Orestio!" he shouted, and at once the bucket stopped and the still water evaporated. Tiernan stood shivering. He was relieved but still scared. He was on the verge of crying when a small grin appeared at the corner of the sorcerer's mouth, and the grin grew into laughter. "My young apprentice," began the sorcerer, "I chose you because you possess courage and creativity. These traits helped get you into trouble today. But it's these same traits that one day will make you the great sorcerer you are to become. Never lose that courage. But no more sorcery today, please." The end.